All right, let's get started. So in this audio log, we just going to see the concepts of management. So management can be defined in different ways and different views, and some of those we are going to discuss in this audio log. So you can view management as a process, you can view it as an economic resource, and you can also view it as a discipline, and sometimes you can view it as a group of managers or a team. Okay, so when we say management as a process, like when you view it as a process, then what exactly is that? So you see, management is considered a process because it involves a variety of or a series of interrelated functions just to obtain the objectives of the organization. So it's a continuous process, consists of planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling functions. So you can remember these steps by remembering this simple abbreviation which I made by myself, like POS DC. You can just generally remember those steps, but in case you forgot, you can just remember this abbreviation POS DC. So P for planning, O for organizing, and S for staffing, D for directing, and C for controlling. So manager, when he reaches to the last step of the control, the management doesn't end here. So he again starts planning for the further task. And so what actually are the implications when we say management as a process? Although there are several implications, like the social process, integrated process, continuous process, and functions of management are like interdependent and interrelated. So when we say social process, so because there is interactions involved among those peoples, and goals can only be achieved when the interaction or relation between those people are productive. So therefore human factor is the most important factor in the part of management. That's why the social process implication when we see management as a process is important. Now integrated process, in management, like we bring human, physical, and financial resources together just to put them into an effort. So we put them into effort, and management also integrates human efforts so as to maintain the harmony among them. So this is like integrated process. And in case of continuous process, we already know they are like continuous identifying and solving the problem. So it's a repeated every now and then till we achieve the goal. So it's a continuous process. And the last one, management functions of management are actually interdependent and interrelated because managerial functions are contained within each other, and these are actually performed simultaneously. For example, you can think like when a manager is planning something, so he's also laying down some standard for controlling or some other functions. So it is like they are just overlapping. So you cannot say if he is planning, he cannot do some other functions. So he can. So it is like interdependent and interrelated. So this was all about in management as a process. Now we see management as an economic resource. Like land, labor, and capital management is important factor in the production. So management occupies like a central place among all those production factors and is combines. And management just coordinate all those resources. So you can imagine just management in the center of a circle and all other resources like money, manpower, materials, and machinery just encircling the management. And the management is just controlling all those factors which are responsible for the production and just control them and coordinate them. So this is how important is the management. So we view management as a kind of economic resource. Okay, so this was in economic resource. Now the third thing, management as a team or group of managers. We all know like a group of persons consists of those who have the responsibility of just guiding and coordinating efforts of other persons. So there's a group. So management just required just to guide those people and coordinate their efforts. So we call them managers, and the managers are like at different levels in an organization. Like there can be top level managers, some are middle level managers, and some are at operational level managers. Okay, so some becomes by just gaining some experience to some level of manager, and some becomes by just having some ownership in their firm, so they become some other types of managers. You can also see like civil servants and defense personnel who are also managing public sectors. So they are kind of like part of management team because they are doing the task of management in the end. And you can also see like a group of manager has become an elite class in society, occupying the positions with enormous power and prestige. Okay, so this was all about in management as a team or group of managers. Now the last one is management as discipline. We know that like management, there are several degrees which are offered nowadays, like MBA or BA or some other degrees in the field of management. So when we say management as a discipline, it refers like to the branch of knowledge which is connected to the study of principles and practices of basic administration. It specifies certain code of conduct to be followed by the managers and like various methods just to manage those resources efficiently. And this field management has emerged as a field of study or a specialized branch of knowledge, which is taught in various business schools and universities. So this was all about concepts of management and different ways and different view how we can just view all these things. Just to quickly remind you, just management we can view it as a process, as an economic resource, as a group of managers, and as a discipline. All right. Now moving to the next one, features of management. So the first feature is like management is goal oriented. Management is not an end in itself, Okay, so it just means to achieve certain goals. We use it as a mean just to achieve those goals. So management has no justification to exist without the goals. If, like you see, if there is no goal, then management has no justification. You don't need management because if you had no goal. So management goals are called group goals or organization goals because different peoples are working collaboratively just to achieve a final single goal. This is why we call them group goals or organization goal. The basic goal is just to ensure the efficiency and economy in the utilization of human, physical, and financial resources. And the success of management is measured by the extent to which the established goal one achieved. This is how the management is just purposeful. The second feature, management is universal. Management is essential element of every organized activity, irrespective of the size or type of activity. So wherever like two or more persons are engaged in working for common goal, management is necessary. And all types of organization, like you can say the family club, university, government, or some business, they all require management. Therefore, the management is pervasive activity. It is universal. You need it. Okay. The third one is management is an integrative force. Okay, so the essence of management lies in the coordination of human and other resources to achieve those desired objectives. So management reconciles the individual goals with the organization goals. So individual goals will become the like final goals of the organization. So they work accordingly to that organization goals. So it's like a unifying force. Management create a whole that is more than the sum of individual parts. So it integrates human and other resources. So there is some integration involvement. So this is why this is an integrated force. The fourth one is system of authority. Now we know like management as a team of managers, they represent system of authority because management at different level process varying degree of authority. Like we previously discussed in the concepts of management, like there are different levels of managers in the different level of organization. So as we move down in the managerial level, the degree of authority decreases gradually. So they have some authority at each level. Okay. Now the fifth feature of management is result from others. Managers cannot do everything on their own. They must have necessary skills and ability to get the work accomplished through the efforts of others. Because in the end, they are just controlling and organizing all those manpower which are working in the organization, and he should be able to organize the workforce just to carry out some productive effort to achieve the final goal. So they must have necessary skills and ability to work accomplished through efforts of others. Now, sixth feature is dynamic process. So management is dynamic. It's not like you plan something and you assume everything and run accordingly because the ecosystem can change, the environment can change. So you have to make changes in your plans as well. So this is kind of dynamic process. The seventh feature is group activity. Management is group activity. It is very clearly said group because it comes into existence only when there are two or more people. Because a single person he can just perform the task individually, so he don't need any management. But if there are like two or more people are involved, like workers or manager, so they have to just do it as a group activity. So the feature is group activity here. The eighth one, management it multidisciplinary. Management must deal with the human behavior under dynamic conditions because they are interacting directly to the people who are working in a group. So therefore, it depends upon the wide knowledge derived from several disciplines like engineering, sociology, psychology, economics, anthropology, etc. So there can be many disciplines that the manager should be just try to know something about those disciplines because yeah, he or she never knows like to which persons he is going to interact with in a group because there are different people, so they can be from different organizations or not organization but different discipline, like they can have some other background, some person can have another background, so it's kind of multidisciplinary. Okay, now ninth one is management is intangible. When we say management intangible, it's like it is an unseen or invisible force. It cannot be seen or but its presence can be heard. Like you can just feel the presence of it everywhere in the form of results. Okay, but the managers who perform these functions of management are very much tangible and visible. Okay, so management itself is intangible, but the managers who is performing those functions of management are very tangible and visible. Okay, another tenth one is management is an art as well as science. So it contains a systematic body of theoretical knowledge and also involves like practical knowledge, application of such knowledge. So management is also a discipline involving specialized training and some ethical code arising out of social obligations. So we can see it's just an art as well as a science. Okay. Now we can also discuss about the objectives of management in this same audio log. So let me just finish this one also. So objectives of management can be categorized in three categories. So the first one is organizational or economic objectives. The objectives can be social objectives and the objectives can be personal objectives. So let's just talk about the organizational objectives. So organizational objectives involves like survival. Management must ensure survival of organization. Second thing, profit. Mere survival is not enough because management must ensure that the business is making profit. Okay, now next is growth. Management must strive hard to achieve growth in terms of increase in sales, number of products, and employees. So these three things exist in the organization objectives. Now we talk about social objectives. So social objectives involve like supply of goods of good quality and services at reasonable rates, and also using eco-friendly methods of productions, providing basic amenities like schools and hospitals, employing disadvantaged people, and the last, like preserving like ethical values, such as like paying taxes on time. So these are like social objectives. The last objective is personal objective. So personal objective involve like financial needs such as salary and perks, social needs as per the definition, and security needs such as like job security, the higher level needs such as personal growth and development, training and development facilities, opportunities for promotions. So this was all about in objectives of management that we see. Okay, I'll see you in the next audio log. Take care. Bye bye.